And we are live. Hello, guys. What is going on? It is great to be back up here after I have to say, pretty shitty weekend for myself. As you can tell, I am still under the weather. I'm recovering from a pretty nasty cold. So it is certainly the season for what it seems like a lot of people that I know are getting sick, but something that makes me feel better is coming up here and doing a live review for tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw, the November 13th, 2017 edition of Raw. This is the go-home show for Survivor Series, and we certainly have a lot to talk about and break down, because I have to say, I enjoyed Raw tonight. I thought it had a lot to offer. It set the table nicely for what's to come this Sunday at an eagerly anticipated Survivor Series. So without further ado, guys, you know how this works. Live chat will be open throughout this entire review as we break down segment by segment, match by match. Be sure to leave your comments and feedback in the live chat. Always enjoy getting that participation, the feedback from you, the fans. And like I said, once again, thank you all for watching live. So without further ado, let's talk about Monday Night Raw tonight. So how do we kick off the go-home edition to Survivor Series? With the queen, this is what I'm dubbing her now, the queen of cringe herself, Stephanie McMahon. And dear God, I mean, this woman, she is on the list. Just so you believe me, she is on the list multiple times. Repeat offender. And I knew as soon as Stephanie was going to come out here, there's one thing that she's good at doing. She bitched and she moaned and she whined and blah, blah, blah. That's all this woman ever does. This woman is never happy. She's never satisfied. And she came down, she berated Kurt Angle. I thought for a second there she was going to fire Kurt Angle. Thank God that the Shield came down, and the sadistic side of me was showing when I saw the Shield come down and circle the ring. I thought maybe, just maybe, I didn't think they were going to do it, but I wanted to see them triple powerbomb Stephanie McMahon. Back in the day, that would happen, but of course now that's not going to happen. But point being, it looked like Stephanie was going to fire Kurt Angle. Shield come down to the ring, and they pretty much say that, you know, we're going to represent Team Raw at Survivor Series, and we want retribution against the New Day for them costing Rollins and Ambrose the Raw Tag Team Championships the previous week. So we have the match made official tonight. It's going to be the Shield versus the New Day at Survivor Series. Now, I know some people, I myself included, when they first took the titles off Ambrose and Rollins, I'm like, oh man, I really wanted to see the Usos versus the Shield. We're not getting that match, and I'm disappointed in that. But I think as a substitute, Shield versus New Day, match we've never seen before, and I've always enjoyed the Shield six-man tags. Like we saw tonight on this show, they're easily some of the best stuff in WWE. Just those three guys have such great chemistry with one another, and you put them in the ring against another cohesive unit like the New Day, that's a match to watch out for. So it's pretty much laid the groundwork for that. Like I said, Shield versus New Day is going to happen at Survivor Series, and I cannot wait for it. So that's a great addition to the card right there. And, you know, pretty much from there, we have the challenge. Like I said, it was accepted by the New Day later on in the night, and we had our first match of the evening. It was a triple threat match. The winner would become the final member of the Team Raw Women's Survivor Series team. It was Bayley versus Mickie James versus Dana Brooke. Solid triple threat match, I'd have to say. I enjoyed seeing Mickie James and Bayley in there for I believe the first time I've ever seen them in the ring together. That's a feud I'd like to see down the line. Bayley versus Mickie James. I thought for sure maybe before the match we'd see Paige make her long-rumored return and this be changed to a fatal four-way. That didn't happen. Point being is it basically came down to Dana Brooke got thrown to the outside. She kind of pretty much got in Asuka's face, and you don't want to do that because you'll piss the hell Asuka off. And she hit a spin kick, Asuka did, on Dana Brooke, took her out, and it came down, excuse me, to Mickie James and Bayley. Like I said, Bayley hit a belly-to-belly on Mickie James and picked up the win, and Bayley is the fifth and final member of the Team Raw, or the Women's Team Raw. So there you have it. Paige is not returned, although there is a possibility we might be able to see her maybe return tomorrow on SmackDown. There is a women's championship match. I know it's Charlotte versus Natalya, although I think the stipulation is Charlotte wins. She'll likely face Alexa Bliss. And then I think Natalya would take the final spot for Team SmackDown. So not sure what's going on with Paige, but hopefully we see her back in the ring sooner rather than later. And like I said, I want to say in advance, I apologize for the coughing that happens tonight. I have my hand on the button just in case. It's going to be one of those reviews, guys. So, but I'm feeling better. I am feeling much better. So after this match, we move on to Enzo Amore and Drew Gulak versus Kalisto and Tozawa. Enzo Amore and Drew Gulak won. Moving on. Because you don't care about that. Neither did I. We had a backstage segment here with Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, and Braun Strowman. Kurt said, and thank you for the well wishes, TN Couponer. I appreciate that. Angle said that Balor and Joe, they need to work together. They need to be on the same page for Survivor Series. So he booked them in a match. Balor and Joe versus Anderson and Gallows later on in the night. And Kurt Angle also booked Braun Strowman versus Kane for later on in the show. So we'll touch on those matches as we go throughout this review. Up next, we had a Miz TV segment. Miz came down to the ring, spitting fire, burying Baron Corbin, pretty much saying he's a worthless champion. He's a bathroom break. He wasn't even good enough to be on last week's edition of SmackDown Live. Like I said, Miz, when he gets that microphone in his hand, he is really one of the best on the roster when it comes to that. He knows his character so well. He plays the arrogant, egotistical, cocky, Hollywood inflated ego prick. There's a mouthful. And like I said, he really laid into Baron Corbin these last 2 weeks. Not really looking forward to that match, but who knows? Maybe it'll surprise me. We'll have to see. And then his guests, like I said, tonight were Cesaro and Sheamus, who once again are the Raw Tag Team Champions, and really digging the pairing of Cesaro and Sheamus. They just work so well together as a tag team. And dare I say it, this might be Sheamus's best role in his run so far with WWE. I just feel like him and Cesaro, they just have such great chemistry. They just know each other so well over the past number of months, and they're now multiple-time tag team champions. And they go in there and they really have some phenomenal matches if you have to think about it with the Hardys, with the Ambrose and Rollins. I've loved every match that those two teams have had, and now they're going to go to Survivor Series and face the Usos. That's another match to watch out for there. The Usos versus the Bar. I'm telling you, that is a match to watch out for there. So pretty much Sheamus and Cesaro talk about, how they are the champions and how SmackDown is the B show and Raw is the A show. And, they'll be in action later on the show taking on the Shield, which is something that I can't wait to talk about because that was good stuff on this show. We had Jason Jordan, who was in action against a returning Bray Wyatt, and the match they had, it was okay. Jason Jordan got the win after Bray Wyatt tried to go for Sister Abigail, and Jordan got a roll-up and beat Bray Wyatt just like that. So kind of an awkward, clunky finish there with a roll-up. But the thing that I noticed in this match is the crowd, they didn't care for Jason Jordan at all. They were clearly into Bray Wyatt when he came out. And afterwards, when Bray Wyatt beat down the so-called good guy, they cheered. They said, "Thank you, Bray Wyatt. Thank you for beating down Jason Jordan." And honestly, who can blame them for chanting that? Jason Jordan, the experiment with him, Kurt Angle as his father, it just ain't working. So hopefully, we'll talk about what happened later on in the show. We see what happens with Jason Jordan going forward. Perhaps a heel turn. I think that's the right call to make, but we'll see. So Jordan's injured. He has a leg injury. He has a leg injury, and he goes back to Kurt backstage. Kurt says, "I don't know if you'll be able to compete. We might have to take you out of the Team Raw versus Team SmackDown match this Sunday." So we follow that up later on in the show. So after this, we have Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. The Beast is back on Raw to address his new opponent at Survivor Series, hallelujah, thank you, God Almighty, we are getting AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar. To me, a dream match, a match that I thought we might not see because Brock's contract's running up. It's coming close to the end here, in August, and we're going to see that match. And this instantly increased my excitement when AJ won that title from Jinder Mahal on last Tuesday on SmackDown. I was like, holy shit, I can't believe that they did that. They proved me wrong, and they're giving us the match that a majority of the fans, I'm not going to say all, maybe there were some people that wanted to see Mahal versus Lesnar, but a majority of the fans wanted to see AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar. A match, dare I say it, if Brock's motivated enough and he goes in there, they could have a match of the year candidate. It could be on the level of a Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk type match. I know they can do it. We'll have to see if, I know AJ will bring it, but if Lesnar is motivated, and I know Lesnar can still go in there and have a kick-ass match, it's just, does he want to? So we will see this Sunday, but Heyman comes down to the ring. He says there's 4 selling points for the fact of Styles versus Lesnar. He really put over AJ Styles strong in this promo. He said this is the first time a Universal Champion and a WWE Champion will collide with one another. He said Heyman himself wants to see AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar. And also, before he got to the third selling point, I'm noticing people in the crowd are pointing and looking at something. And I'm thinking, what the heck's going on here? We have a proposal in the crowd. This threw Heyman off. It was great what Heyman said here. He said the only reason that she said yes is because she hasn't been up close to a beast like Brock Lesnar. Heyman spitting fire here. And then he says, you don't interrupt one of his promos because you doing that is like stepping into the ring with Brock Lesnar. You don't have a chance. So that was something that wasn't supposed to happen, but it's congratulations to the couple that proposed tonight on Raw. So that was a great moment right there. Selling point number 3, Styles, Heyman said, is the most talented performer of this generation. Like, he really put AJ over strong here, which is good. I like seeing that. Selling point 4, he said, if you want to see a Rocky movie come to life, you have to watch AJ Styles. Sunday will be the ultimate Rocky movie. But this ain't no movie. The WWE Champion is going to step into the ring and get victimized by the Universal Champion in Brock Lesnar. So a really strong promo from Paul Heyman that immediately increased my excitement level for Styles versus Lesnar this Sunday. It's going down at Survivor Series, and I cannot wait. It will be one hell of a match that we will remember. I just have a really good feeling about it. We then move on to The Shield versus The Miz and The Bar. It was fun seeing The Shield make their entrance, come down to the ring, have a 6-man tag match on Raw. Like I said, back in the day, it wasn't back in the day. It was only a couple years ago. The Shield 6-man matches were some of the highlights of Raw. They were the reason to tune in Raw because you knew you'd get a kick-ass 6-man tag team match featuring The Shield. And this was a fun match. This certainly set the stage for what's to take place at Survivor Series. Early on, it was Rollins taking on Cesaro. Eventually, Ambrose got in there. He took a good amount of punishment in the match. Eventually, Roman Reigns was able to get a hot tag. Like I said, the crowd wanted to see Roman get in there, and he took it to Sheamus, and Sheamus and Rollins and Ambrose dove over the top rope to take out Cesaro and Sheamus. Miz tries to get the hell out of there. Like I said, earlier on in the match, he ran the hell out of there. I don't know where the Miz went. Perhaps he was going to take a piss or something, go change his wardrobe. I don't know what the hell he was doing. But Miz got back in the ring later on in the match, and Shield gang up on him. And poor Curtis Axel on the outside tries to help his good buddy The Miz with the neck brace, and Dean Ambrose lays him out with the dirty deeds. And so yeah, Miz ran. After that, he got the hell out of there. And later on in the match, Miz tried to roll up Roman Reigns from behind, but Roman was able to kick out there. Really close near fall right there. Miz tried to go for the skull-crushing finale. Roman broke it up. Rollins broke it up, should I say, with a springboard to The Miz, springboard knee. Sheamus tried to attack Seth. Dean hit Sheamus with the dirty deeds, and Miz is finally surrounded. Hits the triple powerbomb by the Shield onto The Miz, and Roman Reigns pins The Miz. 1, 2, 3. Fun six-man match right here. Very fun six-man match. And I have to say, tonight on the mic, I thought Roman, when he countered Stephanie and pretty much told her to shut up and we run this yard, and with the hot tag that he got, the crowd was more behind him. And I have to say, it was great seeing Roman Reigns back on this show. Like I said, it was great seeing the Shield reunited on this show. And I can't wait to see them in action this Sunday versus the New Day at Survivor Series. Cannot say that enough. So after this match, we move on to Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle comes back down to the ring, and he has a tough choice to make. And he says this ain't easy to make, but, his relationship with Jason Jordan's father and son, and he's kind of stalling here, and then eventually Stephanie comes down and says, you need to make this announcement now. And I couldn't believe this happened. Triple H's music, the Game, the Cerebral Assassin, the 15-time world, or should I say the 14-time World Heavyweight Champion, returned on Raw, got right up in Kurt Angle's face, and says, Jason Jordan, you're out, and Triple H is the new 5th member of Team Raw. I was like, what the I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that Triple H returned and replaced Jason Jordan immediately, as if this Survivor Series Team Raw versus Team SmackDown Live match wasn't stacked enough. We had Triple H in there. You have Kurt Angle, Shane McMahon, John Cena, Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman. That is one hell of a lineup. And the different matchups that we're going to see in there, you throw in Triple H, they're really going all out for Survivor Series. And they should. They should want to make these shows, especially your Big Four, feel like a big deal. And kudos to WWE for getting it right, for truly turning this card into something must see. That's all I ask for. Somebody asks, what if The Undertaker takes Bobby Roode's place? Nah, I don't see it happening. Undertaker is retired. And honestly, I think it should stay that way. He's happy now, and I'm just going to let him be. If he chooses to come back, that's another story. Although I think we'll know by the 25th anniversary of Raw what's going on with The Undertaker. So a huge announcement right there. Kind of wish that ended the show, but we still had a couple things left on this show. With tag team match, Finn Balor and Samoa Joe reprising their Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic pairing, taking on Anderson and Gallows. A solid tag match here. Really like seeing how the dynamic of Finn Balor and Samoa Joe would play off with one another. Obviously, they've had a history throughout NXT and recently on the main roster. They fought each other tooth and nail last week and, brawled after that match. So how are they going to be able to coexist at Survivor Series? Well, they were able to coexist fairly well tonight, despite showing some tension early on. Balor and Joe were able to take control. One highlight of the match for me here was, of course, when Joe hits Uranagi in the corner on Anderson. That's always a delight to see. But when Joe went through the ropes to take out Gallows with a suicide dive, Joe, as a big guy with his agility, it's incredible to watch. Joe's a beast. And I can't wait to see what he does in that Survivor Series match. Same thing with Finn Balor. Balor hits coup de grace on Anderson for the win. So Finn Balor, Samoa Joe were able to coexist. Can they keep it going into the Survivor Series? We'll have to stay tuned. We had a brief backstage promo here from Alexa Bliss. She said, it doesn't matter if Charlotte or Natalya win. She pretty much called out SmackDown Live, once again being the B show. She says, normally she DVRs SmackDown and forgets to watch it. And I hate to say it, but Alexa, I've been doing that lately too. So, like I said, usually 3 hours is enough for me. It's very tough to watch an additional 2 on Tuesday. But I will be tuning in tomorrow because I actually have a fairly strong lineup on paper. So Alexa said she might show up at SmackDown Live tomorrow. So there's a little teaser for tomorrow, and we'll have to see. We'll have to see who Alexa Bliss's opponent will be. It's either going to be Charlotte or Natalya. We'll find out tomorrow. And then we move on to our main event. Kane versus Braun Strowman. Match never really got underway. Before the match even began, Kane and Strowman, they pretty much brawled throughout ringside. They had a table set up, never really used it. Strowman is thrown into steel steps by Kane. Kane gets steel chair, and, hits Strowman with it, and they get back into the ring, and Strowman picks up Kane, hits a running power slam, and they go through the ring. I was like, holy shit. That was cool. Kind of an awkward, weird way to go off the air there. I would have rather have seen the Triple H announcement. That would have been a nice bang. This is ready for Survivor Series. But you know what? It was okay. I didn't say it was bad or anything. Obviously, it's building to a match between these two, and we'll see how it is. Not jumping out of my seat to see it, but you save it for TV. I'm glad they're not doing it at the pay-per-view. Fine. It gives Strowman something to do before, we head off into the road to WrestleMania. Kane will put him over, so there you go. And that was Raw tonight, guys. Like I said, good show tonight. Really good show. Go-home show. And if I had to give a grade for Raw tonight, I'm going with a B+. A B+ for Monday Night Raw tonight. And like I said, guys, it's great being back up here. I want to say thank you all for tuning into this live Raw review. I might be back up here tomorrow for a SmackDown review. Not sure if I'd go live or not. It all depends on what I got going on with school. But I will be back up here, of course, later on in the week for my NXT TakeOver and Survivor Series predictions videos, respectively. And, of course, my video reviews for both NXT TakeOver War Games and Survivor Series on Sunday. So that rounds it out for this week. And I will, of course, when I have the time, probably next week do a review on the 30 for 30 Ric Flair ESPN special. Truly tremendous stuff. And I can't wait to talk about that. So that does it, guys, for this live review. I want to say thank you all for watching. Be sure to check out my Twitter at DanielGuys412. Be sure to click the like and subscribe button here at youtube.com/DanielGuys412 for all my latest thoughts and opinions. So that is it, guys. I am out. I will catch you guys later. Have a great rest of your night and take care.